but we are going to have a wonderful show nonetheless. Campus Connection is proudly brought to you by Live Good Anti-Violence Campaign from the Ministry of National Security and Peace. Let's have a word from our sponsor.
See all my other face bruise up? They beat me just because I said I'm tired.
I'm only 13, but they said if I work harder, they will make me go back home.
Me not have no birth paper nor no ID. Them have all of my documents them. Forced labor is one of the many forms of human trafficking. Report suspected cases of human trafficking. Call the nearest police station 119 or 888-PROTECT. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Okay, where are the campus eyes? Students are strap up in a price.
That was a quick word from our sponsor, the Live Good Anti-Violence Campaign from the Ministry of National Security and Peace. This evening, we are talking about a very important topic with all that is happening in Jamaica, specifically the western end of the island. We are talking about volunteering in a time of crisis. And yes, it is a time of crisis, especially that region of the island. The devastation is unreal. For those of us who have seen it in person, you can, testify to the fact that, boy, what you see on social media, on TV, what you hear on the radio, they really can't compare, like cannot compare to actually seeing the devastation in person. So it's very important that we join hands and hearts together, volunteering our time, our efforts as we rebuild Jamaica. But before we get into our main discussion, we'll have education news and bulletin. Then we'll have our creative block with Miss Sasheen White, head of the Home Economics Department at Charlemont High School, designer and CEO of Sashi's Creation. And then we'll have I Chose Christ from Destiny Findlay, UAUCCF president. And then, of course, we go into our main discussion, volunteering in a time of crisis. And we'll be joined by Force Executive Officer in the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force, Nicholas Taylor, Head Officer for Engineering Training and Operations within the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force, and JCCF Rep in the National Emergency Operations Center, Major Paul Campbell. And they'll be, guiding us through the do's and the don'ts when it comes on to volunteering and all of that. We're going to go straight into our education news and bulletin, and this will be done by Camille Lawrence, our campus consultant.
Education news and bulletins for Tuesday, November 25, 2025. State to fund private mental health care for students, teachers after Melissa. In deference to the significant psychological and emotional trauma to educators and students caused by Hurricane Melissa, Education Minister Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon says the state will be footing the bill for services provided by private clinicians to any pupil or teacher. Morris Dixon, in a statement to the Senate on Friday, said this provision was in recognition of the fact that while the damage to the physical infrastructure was monumental, the emotional and logistical damage of Hurricane Melissa on educational personnel and learners is significant and wide-ranging. She noted the ministry was swift in expanding access to psychological support to the education community. A national framework was activated to address trauma, led by the Guidance and Counseling Unit. Support is delivered through national, regional, and school-based interventions, including wellness activities and targeted counseling. Morris Dixon said one significant support activity is the access to clinicians who can provide stakeholders with relevant coping skills tailored to their identified needs. Additionally, she said 53 guidance counselors are available to provide telecounseling support. The ministry will cover costs for the services provided by the private clinicians and have made arrangements with private psychologists and psychiatrists that any student or teacher who needs that support can make use of it. She said a school's bulletin has been disseminated with the list of clinicians and volunteer counselors and their contact information. Cleanup efforts continue at schools in St. Anne and Trelawney after Hurricane Melissa. In the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, schools across St. Anne and Trelawney are actively restoring facilities to ensure students can return to classes safely. Brownstown Community College in St. Anne and Westwood High School for Girls in Trelawney are leading the charge in repairing damages sustained during the hurricane, which affected roofs, classrooms, dormitories, and other essential infrastructure. Principal of Westwood High School, Karen Francis, said the school lost many roofs, including those of the principal's and vice principal's flats, the staff room, 3 quad classrooms, and the clinic, which was being re-roofed. Cleanup efforts have been ongoing with support from students, parents, alumni, and volunteers from other schools, such as Jamaica College and Kingston College. Also lending a hand were cadets from Ocho High School in St. Anne and a team from the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Region 3. At Brownstown Community College, Principal Claudette Horton informed that 2 of the college's campuses experienced extensive damage. Of the 31 buildings across 2 campuses, 30 were impacted, with at least 50% suffering total roof loss. Cleanup at the college is being supported by teams from the Ministry of Education, the Council of Community Colleges of Jamaica, the Jamaica Public Service Foundation in partnership with the VM Foundation and Sharon Williams, alumni, the Social Development Commission, and the Students' Loan Bureau. Both principals expressed appreciation for the Ministry of Education Region 3, led by Regional Director Carlene Segree, for coordinating support and facilitating the deployment of teams to assist in recovery efforts. And now for the bulletins. The University of Technology Jamaica cordially invites you to the official book launch of a new publication, Technical, Vocational, Education and Training in Jamaica, Achievements, Impact and Challenges. Join us on Wednesday, November 26, 2025 at 5 p.m. at the Lecture Theatre 50 at the Shared Facilities Building, University of Technology Jamaica, Pepin Campus. Be a part of this important national conversation as we celebrate research, innovation, and the strengthening of Jamaica's education landscape. To confirm your attendance, please RSVP at utechjapress at utech.edu.jm. Save the date. The Scientific Research Council, celebrating 65 years of innovation, invites you to an inspiring edition of Conversations in Science. This year's theme, Weathering the Future, Science, Food Security, and Smart Infrastructure for Resilient Jamaica. Join us on Thursday, November 27, 2025 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, 81 Knutsford Boulevard, Kingston. For more information, contact the SRC at 876-927-17714 or visit src.gov.jm. That's the education news and bulletins for Campus Connection. I am Camille Lawrence.
So much, Camille, for our education news and bulletin. I sincerely hope that you've made a little note, of the different activities that have happened and that are coming up. We're going straight into our Creative Block segment. We have Sasheen Wright, head of the Home Economics Department at Charlemont High School. Sasheen, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Awesome. Welcome to Campus Connection. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. So you are indeed a creative. We can safely say that. There are a lot of things that you have done and you continue to do. But what would you consider to be your life's mission? In all the different things that you do, what do you think is your actual mission?
Wow. I think that my mission is to be an inspiration to others, particularly younger people. And so I continue to strive to always stay relevant in a sense where I can always be a positive role model to them, somebody that they can always look up to and say that because of Miss White, I am this,
yes.
So I think that my mission is to be of help or to be a motivational footprint in person's life.
That's powerful. And how long have you been in the creative field, specifically designing?
Um, I would say I started officially in 2012.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Mm. And I'm sure you've encountered different challenges while, being a part of the field. Can
Mm-hmm.
you possibly give us one strategy that you consistently employ to overcome challenges within the field?
Oh my, to say one is like minute, but there have been challenges and there will continue to be challenges, I believe. But
Mhm.
in overcoming the challenges, I try to stay true to myself at all times
Mhm.
while trying to stay inspired also. Because, whenever we do things, there is a reason why we do it. So I always try to remember my why I started in the first place, and why
Yes.
I would want to continue. So staying true to yourself at all times, try to always seek for inspiration, think
Mhm.
outside the box, and to stay relevant to whatever you think is true for you.
Awesome, awesome. Staying true to your why. Super, super important. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in our creative block segment here inside Campus Connection on the Family Station Love 101. We're talking with Sasheen White. She is a teacher, but not just a teacher, because she's also a CEO. She is a designer, entrepreneur, all of those good stuff, and we have more with her after these messages. Stick and stay with us.
Grace is giving shoppers discounts on over 20 of your favorite Grace products when you cash out at participating supermarkets. The time that Grace could move is
5:45.
Me just never did I get through with no work, and me did I get desperate. Till one day me see one ad, but them want somebody for work at a massage parlor. Trust me, the place was nothing like them advertised. From the very first day, I had to be giving much more than massages.
Verify the legitimacy of job advertisements with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. To report suspected cases of human trafficking, call the nearest police station, 119 or 888 Protect. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
We know you're making every dollar work harder, choosing carefully, buying what you need, and making it stretch as far as you can. That's why Grace is giving shoppers discounts on over 20 of your favorite Grace products when you cash out at participating supermarkets. It's our way of helping you sweeten moments together, share more meals, and take care of the people you love. Make a good move with 20% savings from Grace.
Hurricane Melissa may be over, but the emotional impact can linger. It's normal to feel anxious, sad, or overwhelmed. Talk about your feelings, stay connected with family and friends, and reach out for help if you need it. Call the Mental Health and Suicide Prevention Helpline at 888 New Life. That's 888-639-5433. You can also access the UMatter chat line by messaging the word support to 876-838-4897 or at UReport Jamaica. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Start your day informed, alert, and ahead of the curve. Join us at 6:30 a.m. for the latest breaking news, weather updates, and everything you need to know. Clear, concise, connected. It's your morning news right here on Love 101 FM, the family station. On Mondays, the morning news is brought to you by the Ministry of National Security Live Good Anti-Violence Campaign.
Okay, where are the campus eyes? Students are strap up in a price.
Welcome back to Campus Connection here on the Family Station Love 101. Campus Connection is proudly brought to you by Live Good Anti-Violence Campaign from the Ministry of National Security and Peace. We are joined by a teacher from Charlie Mount High School, Sasheen White. She is our guest for our Creative Block segment this evening. Before the break, we were having a quick conversation about her journey thus far within the field of designing. But we want to dig a little deeper to really understand some of the different, things that she would have been through. I'm seeing here some of her work Very, very creative. I don't know if we are able to project it for our viewers. Yes, wonderful, wonderful. So this is a jeans denim kind of. Sashin, you'd have to help me out here. What are we seeing here?
The denim, it was a recycled piece actually. So we use that, and I say we because it was myself along with my students, where we use most of the pockets of jeans garments to create the dress.
Wow. And what was the thought process behind doing something like this?
Well, the thought process behind it is a case where whenever I am doing something, I always try to be different. And so when we were called upon to enter the competition, because it was actually a competition that we entered, and we were tasked to use clothing to create a piece. And I said, persons use jeans all the while, but I have never personally seen where just elements of the jeans garment is used. So I tried to be different, and so I went for the pockets mainly, and then I also used the loops that you would lace your belt in to create design in it as well. So that was my aim, to be different.
I love the way in which you thought about the different elements of the jeans or the denim pieces to make it into one piece. That is absolutely beautiful. And that's what, upcycling?
Pardon me?
That's upcycling.
Yes, upcycling project.
Wow, awesome. What's next for Sashin? Where do you see yourself going, especially in the fashion design world?
Oh, where do I see myself? Apart from trying to get more mini Sashin, as I would put it. Something that I've always wanted to do, and it is still in the little box there. I've always wanted to do a big fashion show, to highlight creativity and uniqueness and all of that. So that's something that I've always dreamt of for some time now, when I think that, well, I know that I will still get to do it at some point. And then the more it's delayed, because there are different reasons why it's delayed, it's the more I see other persons coming on in terms of persons who I would have trained. And so the word big will probably be massive by then, instead of saying big. But that's my ultimate dream.
That is absolutely beautiful. And I'm looking forward to the announcement of that fashion show. Really looking forward to seeing you on the big screen, or your designs rather, on the big screens right across the world. Sashin, thank you so much for making it Campus Connection, and all the very best for the future.
Thank you, and you're most welcome.
Awesome. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful talk there with Sashin White. She is the guest, or was the guest, for our Creative Block segment here inside Campus Connection on the Family Station, Love 101. We're going to go straight into our I Chose Christ feature. You want to really take the time out to listen to this testimony from the UAUCCF President, Destiny Findlay.
I'm a third-year integrated marketing communication student. My testimony is that in the summer of 2018, one of my family members got sick. And at the time, I wasn't living for Christ, but when trouble hit, I knew where to turn to. And so during that time, I really was seeking God for healing for my family member. I was praying and fasting. Even though before this incident happened, I wasn't living for Christ, I knew that I could always call on him. I could always turn to him when I was in need. And so I decided to. It was a long process, in and out of the hospital. So many things happened during that time. But at the end of it all, God did show up and God did answer our prayers. And after the incident happened and the healing came, something happened in me though, that internally, that I couldn't deny. And I was like, I was living a life that didn't reflect this God, didn't reflect my love for him. And at the moment I was ready to turn to him and ask him to do anything for me, to bring healing to my family member, he was willing and ready to do it. And that created conviction, but it also revealed God's love. And moving forward, I was like, yeah, I need to change my life. I can't act like what just happened didn't happen. And I needed to changed my heart. And so I fell more and more in love with Jesus. And that really started a process of transformation and healing in my own life after giving my life to Christ. So it really was that, yeah, I could call on God in times of need and in times of trouble, but I didn't want my relationship with him to just be about that. And so I decided to give my life to Christ. I decided to start living a life that reflected what I knew about God and what I knew. It was like I wanted my life to reflect my relationship with him. And so I chose Christ, and you should too.
Beautiful testimony there from UCCF President Destiny Findlay, sharing how she chose Christ in a very difficult situation, but she chose him nonetheless, and he, improved himself. You understand? Improve himself as the great God that he is, and we give him all the glory for that beautiful testimony. If you would like to send your testimony audio to Campus Connection, you can send us an email at love101campusconnection@gmail.com. We want to hear, what Jesus is doing in the lives of our campusites, right? If you're a teacher, if you are a parent, and you want to share something school related that Jesus has done, please feel free to send us your testimony. Because we'd love to be blessed by it and allow our listeners and viewers to be blessed as well. We are going now into our main discussion this evening, volunteering in a time of crisis. Have you supported the rebuilding efforts of Jamaica since the passing of Hurricane Melissa? Have you, donated, whether it's cash or, food items, clothing? What have you done in the process? And we want to ask you a serious question, a real question. How well do you think Jamaica will recover psychologically from the devastating effects of Melissa? Because we're focusing a lot on the rebuilding of the physical, infrastructure, but a lot of persons are seriously affected mentally and emotionally. And so we really want to know your thoughts. How well do you think we can really recover, from Hurricane Melissa, from a psychological standpoint? This evening we are joined by Colonel Nicholas Taylor, Force Executive Officer in the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force. We're also joined by Major Paul Campbell, Head Officer for Engineer Training and Operations within the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force, and JCCF Rep in the National Emergency Operations Center. Right, the program really is to affirm unwavering commitment to community service and youth volunteerism as the government of Jamaica advances an all-hands-on-deck approach to rebuild lives, restore hope, and intensify recovery efforts. Gentlemen, thank you so much for making a Campus Connection this evening.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. It's a pleasure to be on Love 101, the family station, of course, to speak about this very important, matter at this time. It's also very fitting that you open with your comment about our mental capacity and how best we will recover. But psychosocially, we need to really attack that. I'll speak to more about that. But thanks very much to you, your producer, the staff, the team at Love 101, as well as the viewers and listeners to the family station.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that just now. So the reality is that we are facing a crisis, and I do say facing. Some people I hear them saying Jamaica has faced, but I believe the crisis is still very much evident. Major Campbell, based on where you sit, what's the status now? What's going on now?
What's going on now? Yes. Good afternoon, listeners. Where I sit in the National Emergency Operations Center.
Yes.
And the role of that center is essentially to coordinate the national response to the disaster and generally to national emergencies. The center is not an agency or entity that's always in existence. It's activated when certain events happen to the country. And so the Cadet Force has been there at the center from the onset. And yes, it is really a grave situation, but not hopeless. We have hope in Christ, so certainly not hopeless. But it is an opportunity for all of us, and we'll speak to the Cadet Force, especially, to put into practice what we say we are preparing ourselves for, to have a ready mind to serve, to lead, to unite. And that's what the Cadet Force is all about.
Powerful.
Yes. So what the status is with the aid that we had a lot of outpouring of support, especially.
All right, hold that point. Don't forget it. We have to go to a quick break. We want to talk about the aid. We definitely want to talk about the aid. So stick and stay with us for more Campus Connection after these messages.
I'm Itana, and human trafficking is everybody's business. Call 1-888-PROTECT to report suspected cases of child trafficking.
The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6 o'clock.
See all my other face bruise up? They beat me just because I said I'm tired.
I'm only 13, but they said if I work harder, they will make me go back home.
Me not have no birth paper nor no ID. Them have all of my documents them. Forced labor is one of the many forms of human trafficking. Report suspected cases of human trafficking. Call the nearest police station, 119 or 888-PROTECT. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
We are by your side, looking after life. We've been here for 25 years and we are
Guardian Life.
Just getting started, leading the way every day, protecting you and yours at every stage.
Guardian Life.
Looking after life, caring for family, caring for you. Looking after life is what we do.
For every generation, for every stage, your partner for 25 years. Guardian Life.
Looking after life. Okay, where are the campus heights? Students are strap up in a price. We see yard.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Campus Connection, brought to you by Live Good Anti-Violence Campaign from the Ministry of National Security and Peace. If you're just joining us, we're talking about a very important topic this evening, volunteering in a time of crisis. And we have two very relevant gentlemen here with us this evening. We're talking about Colonel Nicholas Taylor and Major Paul Campbell, both from the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force. Major Campbell being a part of the National Emergency Operations Center. Major, before the break, I don't want to say jump the gun because it's perfect, because we had it later on, but might as well we go straight into it. So you were alluding to the aid that is being, distributed or, given to our people in the Western region. Could you shed some light for us, if you can, because they can't share everything, of course, but a synopsis of what that looks like.
All right. So, yes, the biggest challenge is not so much the supply of aid. It's really the logistics, getting it to those who need it. And, we need people on the ground who are aware of where the needs are. The truth is, the persons who are most needy may certainly be the ones who are less able to communicate their needs. And so, you know, we depend on support from entities like the Cadet Force, people who are on the ground. You know, the cadet membership is distributed throughout the length and breadth of the island, and so we have a critical role to play in providing that what we call intelligence on the ground.
Yes,
as to what's the situation, not just what's on the ground, but even the access ways to get the supplies to the person. You know, the international aid may be slowing down, but I want to encourage our people to understand that we have here in Jamaica, we need to mobilize what we have here in Jamaica to support those who are on the other side. We also have the diaspora, our Jamaicans overseas, who we can, you know, continue to call on. And Colonel Taylor will even speak more to the Cadet Force and their involvement in the diaspora.
Yes. Thank you so much, Major. Colonel, just to help our listeners and our viewers to understand, because we're talking about the combined Cadet Force. Can you give us an understanding of what that looks like? Who is a part of this combined Cadet Force?
All right, so a synopsis, the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force is a youth organization with a difference. It has a rank structure. It mimics that of the Jamaica Defense Force. And so we work very closely with the Jamaica Defense Force. We can call the Jamaica Defense Force our parents, all right? And so we use military type training to, you know, impart knowledge and to develop and hone the skills of our membership. We have divisions. We have the senior division and we have the junior division. So this force is operated through schools, right? Through secondary schools. And what happens is that for us to have the proper structure in place, we must have the adult volunteers who provide supervision and leadership and training to these youngsters. Some of the training that the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force carries is that of map reading. You talk about navigational skills. Now, these are some of the survival techniques that we use, and we also do some amount of community service training. So we want to speak directly to the whole aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. For instance, there was a particular time when we went on a camp and our focus was disaster preparedness. So we went into the communities, and I call the community of Fruitful Vale in Portland. You know, Portland is prone to hazards and such. And so what happened is that we went into those the community of Fruitful Vale for a whole 2 weeks, and we lived among the membership, the citizenry of that community. We went into the homes. We taught people how to secure documents, to put them in plastic bags, to photocopy them. We also went in and photocopied them as well, and to encourage them to send them to some relative off their site, like overseas and such the like. So we do some of these trainings and such like. Other training that we do is field craft and those things that cause cadets to be able to make improvised shelter, we call them. So you see like what is happening in the West now, where grave devastation, our cadets will be able down there to maneuver themselves because they can erect in no time improvised shelter using things that are around them. So these are some of the skills that the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force carries out. And I spoke to some of the community training that we do, because in our community training, we are taught to observe the laws of the land and to ensure that we respect the area itself, so we don't go and interrupt things and so you won't find us damaging people's property and such the like. But this sort of training prepare our cadets to be mentally strong, to be able to make decisions on the spot, to be able to navigate, to be able to execute within a particular time. They have a good time appreciation of whatever they are doing. So once they are going to execute, the plan is there and the execution comes easy. If you fail to plan, you plan to
fail.
You plan to fail, and the cadet
absolutely
is you that in terms of the serving the community, they are able to do basic first aid. So if it is that people are suffering from certain things, they are a first response, and those are just a synopsis of what we do as cadets. Not just marching up and down in the sun.
Much more than that.
It's far more than that, deeper than that, and there is the psychosocial aspect of our cadet training that we can speak to as well.
Awesome. And I must have a small confession to make. I actually joined cadet in high school, and I spent all of 30 minutes. I came right out because I just didn't have the mental fortitude to push through.
There you go. If you had stayed.
If what can we really say? It is what it is. Definitely.
Yeah.
But Major, what partnerships are being leveraged to strengthen relief efforts? So we talk about the JDF, the JCF, ADPEM, NGOs. What kind of partnerships are being leveraged to really help our people in this time of crisis?
All right. You mentioned it, and earlier I mentioned the National Emergency Operations Center. That's actually managed by ADPEM. And that entity really is the national coordinating body. So, even though the cadet force has their own partnerships already. I mean, we have a partnership with ADPEM itself. We have the parent, you could say, big brother, some people say, relationship, that is the JDF to us. So we have those in place already. And of course, I'd say a very key partner, even though we are under the Ministry of National Security as one of the nation's forces, our key partner is the Ministry of Education. Very critical, given that our students are integrated into the high school system, and probably, I'd say a large fraction, I won't give a number, but a large proportion of our adult volunteers have senior management or leadership roles in high schools throughout Jamaica. And when you consider that high schools, schools make a large fraction of the shelters in Jamaica, then you see us being very much integrated into the shelter management programs of the country. So apart from the many of our staff also are involved in other ministries, Ministry of Health, for example.
Yes.
And so these partnerships are deliberate, it is with the cadet force headquarters, with other agencies like ADPEM and JDF, and some are just natural given the membership of our force being dispersed throughout so many different departments, agencies within the government, also with NGOs and so forth. So it's a very natural role that we are playing during this time. I'd say we have a certain characteristic that many others may not have, especially the fact that we are distributed throughout the whole island. We have members everywhere, so we can provide that kind of feedback. I'll end with this one. A very key role we play, just as I sit in the National Emergency Operations Center, we also have our other officers and adult volunteers in parish emergency operations centers that's throughout the West, and they strongly support helping to stabilize the operational capabilities in each of those parish capitals, to help to assess what's happening in each parish, And that information is fed back to Kingston so that the nation can coordinate their response in an equitable way.
Powerful, absolutely powerful. You are here listening and viewing Campus Connection here on the Family Station Love 101. We're talking about volunteering in a time of crisis. So important that we join all our resources together. It's an all hands on deck approach at this point in time to help to restore not just the western side of Jamaica, but the entire Jamaica after the passing of Hurricane Melissa. We're here in a discussion with two gentlemen who know a lot about volunteering. We're talking about persons who are underground. They know what is going on. They understand what it is to coordinate teams and all of that. But we have to take a quick break. But gentlemen, I want you to, because on the other side of the break, we want to talk about what is actually happening. You know, persons wanting to volunteer, what they can do, how they can be a part of it and all of that. But stick and stay with us for more Campus Connection after these messages.
I just never did I get through with no work, you know. I did I get desperate. Till one day I see one ad, but I want somebody for work at a massage parlor. Trust me, the place was nothing like them advertised. From the very first day, I had to be giving much more than massages.
Verify the legitimacy of job advertisement with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. To report suspected cases of human trafficking, call the nearest police station, 119 or 888 PROTECT. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
All roads lead to New Budget Supplies from now until Christmas.
Yes, sir.
We've got zinc, lumber, tarpaulins, farm ply, everything you need to rebuild.
Hallelujah.
Big discounts on UP PVC windows, paints, decorative hardboard, dress ply, and lots more.
Everything,
Open
man,
every
tell you.
Sunday until Christmas. New Budget Supplies, 195 Hagley Park Road. Call 9234-560 or WhatsApp 581-6165. Remember the name, New Budget Supplies, always the best prices.
Okay, where are the campus heights? Students are strap up in a price.
Welcome back to Campus Connection here on the Family Station Love 101. Have you donated to the Hurricane Melissa victims? Remember, Love 101, we are doing our own relief efforts. You can make your donations at Broadcast House, 81 Hagley Park Road. Of course, you can make your cash donations as well. You can, go on our social media pages to find out the information and how you can do that. So we're looking on canned food, bottled water, sanitary napkins, baby and adult diapers, tarpaulin, toiletries, etc. Anything that we can get in order to assist our brothers and sisters in the western region of the island. All right, so I am a person who have seen the devastation and I want to volunteer, but I don't know where to go. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to get involved. Colonel, what would you say to me as a Jamaican citizen looking and seeing the devastation in the West? What can I do?
All right, very good, question there. What can you do? Now, what we have done in the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force, and I jump to this, that we launched what I call Operation Cadet Care. And Operation Cadet Care is a national relief program that we have in place to help those cadets and their families, and of course, by extension, other members of the community in their restoration and relief efforts. So what we do is to ask that people, bring, and some of those items are, well, basically the list that you went through a while ago, tarpaulins, hygienic products, all of those things, we accept those non-perishable items. We have established, the force is divided into 5 regiments, right? Now, we have the Northern Regiment, the Southern Regiment, the Eastern Regiment, the Headquarters Regiment, and the Western Regiment. The Western Regiment is the regiment most affected. And so what we do is ask that the other regiments, reach out and solicit all these items. And we have drop-off points. So anybody in my hearing, if you are in the southern side of the island, stretching from Clarendon back to St. Catherine thereabout, you can go to Jose Marti High School and drop off your items there. And then the command in that regiment will now move that from there to headquarters JCCF in Kingston. If you are in the Eastern Belt, that is Kingston and St. Andrew, then you go directly to the headquarters in Up Park Camp. We are situated there in Up Park Camp at the D. Cordova Barracks. If you are in the north, then you come to a place named St. Mary High School, where you are able to drop off all your items and stuff. If it is that whatever the items are, we are willing to accept, we will do the packaging and all of that. But you can also reach out to us. And once you reach out to us, we are able to take your information and to be able to give that sort of a support, psychosocial support, mental support, whatever it is. I'm involved with cadetting. I'm involved with so many things that makes me realize that mental health is a serious thing. And
absolutely,
Hurricane Melissa has devastated this nation, and as a result, we can expect that mentally we have been affected. What I would want to say to our people, let's talk about it. Call us and let us talk about it. I'm going to share all our communication channels with you before the end of this program, so that you can reach out to us and speak to us about it. But these are some of the things that we are doing. We are partnering with from overseas. Paul, spoke about our partnership and stuff, but we also have what we call the Ex-Cadet Alumni Association that is based overseas. And so they too have launched their initiative and is able to partner with us to ensure that we are able to effectively deal with the relief process here in Jamaica. So we are doing a lot of things as a force. The Jamaica Combined Cadet Force, to ensure that we live up to our motto. We unite, we serve, we lead. That's our motto, Junti Serviendo Ducimos. That means to unite, to serve, to lead. That's
right. I wouldn't even try to pronounce that right now.
Oh, that's why
thank you so much.
You stay only 30 minutes.
Only 30 minutes. Oh boy, but thank you so much, Colonel. Major, so Colonel dealt with what we can do as relates to donating. So let's say now I want to go down to the West. I want to, boots on the ground kind of vibe. What would you say to me, somebody who is not a part of an organization or anything like that, but I just want to be a part of the relief efforts?
All right, good question. That's what the coordinating bodies of the country is for, In the National Emergency Operations Center and the ODPEM generally, there are representatives of all organizations there. And for example, ODPEM will have various trips or activities where they would need to go to the West, and they ask for volunteers. So you can go to the ODPEM website to see how you can engage with them. And in engaging with ODPEM, you're likely engaged with the cadet force in many of those activities. So that's a key way. You need to coordinate. You need to. We cannot afford to have our response be chaotic. We must ensure that your contribution is, there are others who are on the ground. Their eyes are seeing what's happening. They know where the needs are. And so we pull together to see where we can do that. And it's not just ODPEM. You can go through your churches. Denominations usually are all over the country, right? You have branches all over the country. And so, work with your church groups, and work with sometimes you work for a company that may have branches all over the country. So, so work with those entities that have arms or have extensions throughout the country who are able to correctly assess what's going on and are able to say how you can, through them, contribute to the effort. The Cadet Forces, Jamaica Cadet Force is one such entity, and there are many others. But we are glad to play that role, especially engaging our youth in the national response.
So very important, and I really appreciate the insight coming out of this conversation, and I hope our listeners and our viewers are making note, because this thing is not a sprint. You know, a lot of people, they are already fatigued, you know, from the relief efforts, but this thing is an ongoing effort until Jamaica is fully restored. Colonel, can you share the contact details with our listeners, please? And then, Major, I'm going to ask you to just share your final thoughts as we wrap the discussion and wrap the program.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. But what I want, I just want to put in one important part, because the Cadet Force, the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force, cares for its members. And so we sat down, we looked at it to say that we have in the West students, cadets, who will be doing CSEC and CAPE examinations in May, June, or whenever. Yes. You know, I know that the ministry has something going on. But what we are doing as a cadet force, we have put together a camp, a training program to remove those cadets from out of their space. We are taking them into one space. We are engaging some of the best teachers, instructors, you know, and facilitators from right across the country. And
that is awesome.
Yes, and what we are going to do is to bring them in for a minimum of 5 days, maximum of 7 days, and where we are going to now effect some psychosocial care. We are going to bring in counselors, because we have all these different arms in the cadet force, you know. So we are going to be bringing in the counselors and all of those people to ensure that we work with our cadets who are going to sit external exam, especially with the core subjects, those subject areas like the English, the math, the Com studies, the Carib studies, the information technology, sciences, and such the like. So that's what we are going to do for our cadets. So we're going to be having a cadet camp. Parents, you must know, this is not going to be about cadetting. It's going to be about cadets. We are bringing our cadets into one space to help them academically and to get them in the right frame of mind and to shape their mental faculties to be ready for their exam come next year. And this is going to be, you'll hear more about that very soon, because we want to start this by the earliest, the 17th of December. But you can contact us. You can view Cadet Force on Instagram at JCCF Official. That's at JCCF Official. Our Facebook page is Jamaica Combined Cadet Force. Our website is cadetforceja.org. That's cadetforceja.org. Then you can get us on 876-928-1871. That's 928-1871. And our cell number is 876-448-1364. 876-448-1364. That's all we have. Well, those are just some of the things that we have in store for cadets and their families, because without their families, we won't have any cadets. So we have to take care of everybody. But the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force really and truly believes in you know, the efforts, and we believe in our cadets and the fact that we can together ensure that we get through these trying times. That's the effort that we are going for.
Awesome, awesome. Major, your final thoughts. We're running out of time, but quickly, your thoughts.
Yes, Jonathan. You said something earlier. This is not a sprint. The race is not for the swift. And from where I sit, this recovery may take decades. Sounds away. But this is where resolve, discipline, and much of what we have tried to impart in our cadets, this is where it's going to come to bear in the nation. We have to face the reality. I think in many respects, some of us may be living in denial, those who haven't really seen how bad it is. But we must be ready to serve, ready to unite, ready to offer our assistance as the Cadets Force is doing our part. Just call on our nation, every person to do their part in prayer. I'd say in repentance too. Do their part in seeing us come out of this on the other side. And thank you again for this opportunity.
And thank you so much, Major Paul Campbell and Colonel Nicholas Taylor here inside our main discussion on Campus Connection. Thank you, gentlemen, for making it Campus Connection, and all the very best with the different activities and efforts that you have going on currently and in the future.
Thank you too. Thanks to your listeners. Thank you for having us. We are ready to come and share anytime.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Volunteering in a time of crisis. We are having, but big up to all our guests. Thank you so much for making the Campus Connection. Our wonderful team: Jermaine Johnson, Nicky Angus, Shania Smith, Daniel Cox, David Sutton, Eden Palmer, Ruth Lawrence, and Camille Lawrence, and Raquel Robertson. Thank you so much for making it Campus Connection. That's it for our show this week. Campus Connection is proudly brought to you by Live Good Anti-Violence Campaign from the Ministry of National Security and Peace. See you next week as we explore more things while going on campus. I am Jonathan Fletcher.
You're tuned to Family Radio Broadcasting from Kingston, Jamaica. We're Love 101 FM. Our time is now 6:30 and a half. So then it's time for the evening temperature check in Kingston and Montego Bay.